Welcome back to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at a little item I was able to get because of the GM's Day sale on Drive-Thru RPG, and that's the Robot Handbook. I took advantage of the sale and picked this guy up. This was out last year. It's from Mongoose Traveler's second edition. There's quite a bit to this book. I was pleasantly surprised by what's offered in here. So we're going to take a look at the book contents and why I was quite happy to get it. The GM's Day sale runs from now through March 14th. 15 to 30% off various items throughout the website. I've just featured a few this week on the channel. There's many, many more where those came from. So go ahead and take a look. I don't work for Drive-Thru RPG. I don't work for Mongoose. I'm just somebody I'm trying to pass on what I think is a pretty good deal. Also, subscribers, please do. I want to keep the channel growing, to keep it going. Also, Patreons. If there's anything you can do to help out there, that would be fantastic. Also helps to keep the channel going. Everybody who has subscribed or who is a Patreon, I want to thank you for your support. Back to the important stuff today. The Robot Handbook from Mongoose Traveler's second edition on page 121. The Robot Handbook for Mongoose Traveler's second edition. This was out in 2022. Was written by Gear Lenniskog. I hope I got your name right. I apologize if I did not. It's a really nice book, a very crunchy book. Lots of good rules in here. Goes into the introduction, goes into the history of robots. Robots in science fiction, of course, go hand in hand. We get the Shudasham Accords, which is basically the laws of robotics as the Imperium sees them. Now, ironically, I said as the Imperium sees them, these accords were not adopted when the third Imperium was first founded. So they're more of guidelines than strict rules, which I like because that gives you an opportunity to have what would otherwise be illegal or illicit robots in charted space to go ahead and have them. And then robots across charted space. It talks about how people feel about robots in the Third Imperium, robot brains. And then we go to the robot design. Very lengthy section of the book, which of course it should be, goes through in a nice design pattern. I enjoyed how this was written. I have said in the past that I'm not the crunchy guy designing my own stuff when I, as a GM. It's something I may be curing on myself. I feel I need to kind of dive into this a little bit to better understand it. So I am going to be designing a robot or two. I still want to design a couple of ships from the various traveler ships that have been out there. This book does interact with the vehicle book and with Highguard also, so you can make robot vehicles, Kit from Knight Rider, or you have other larger robot tanks, that kind of thing. But you would need to integrate the other rules with this. But that gives you a nice breakdown of how to do it. So we got a nice look at various robot traits, design worksheets, and there we go. There's a nice design worksheet. And the way this is shown us how to design it is, I thought, pretty cool. Our design examples come from two different types of bots, the Steward Droid and the StarTech Droid. Steward Droid is one that just a bot that would otherwise act as kind of a steward aboard a ship or a butler around a house. And then the StarTech Droid is based on an Aslan design, and it's basically a shipboard engineer. So we first get these, and I thought, okay, we're going to get a little look. What they do is they take these two droids through the entire design process, through every step. We get to see the next add-on and the next add-on. I thought that was a nice touch. It gave a nice feel to building the bot, and then we finally see the bot in the robot section later. We get to see the full thing as presented. So I thought that was a really good design feature in this book. Now we get the locomotion, how the robot gets around, chassis options for armor, endurance, resiliency. And then again, we get the two droids move further along in their design process. And then we get modifications for agility, vehicle speed movement, secondary locomotion, and final endurance. And then again, we get the examples brought forward in our Steward Droid and our StarTech Droid. Then we got manipulators, arms, tentacles, whichever you need for the beast, for the robot you're building. I like how this was done. I like how this is explained. This is pretty crunchy as far as the detail you can go into and even need to go into to use these this design format. But it's very well explained, very well brought out. And again, we get our two droids that we've been building straight through. Now, everything is based around slots. You have so many slots on the droid, and then you can fill it with so many items. This slot won't go with this slot, so you can't use the two together. That's what the rules bring out, and that's what I meant by crunchy. Slots are a good way to do any kind of design. It's been around for a long, long time, but it's very well thought out and well brought out here. You can have an Android with solar coatings, they'd solar charge, the forms of communicators that they have. A lot of good stuff, a lot of good thought was put into this book. I really like this book. I love Robots and Traveler. I love the old 101 robots from DGP. And this is a worthy successor to that. And then we go to various, there you go, a little house cleaning robot. And medical options. You can actually build a Metabot. You can build a crawling or flying stasis chamber, whatever you need to keep you from dying. It can even come out onto the battlefield and get you. I thought that was pretty neat. You get some little bit of battle mech looking kind of robots in here. Now battle mech, of course, from BattleTech, that would be a vehicle, that wouldn't be a robot, but that would be a good example of a robot that you occupy, that you add other stuff to. We have self-destruct systems. I thought this was a nice touch. There are two forms of self-destruct, which are defensive self-destruct, where it just slags itself, it just melts everything down, so it's not usable if the robot is captured, so nobody can reverse engineer its technology. And then we get the offensive destruct, where the robot explodes. A small robot makes a small explosion, a bigger robot makes a bigger explosion. There are bots in here that are designed to do nothing but crawl over to you and explode. Interesting designs. A lot of imagination, a lot of thought went into this. We have various power options for your robot. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on the design section, simply because this could be its own couple of videos, and maybe down the line once I get more proficient with the design. I was only able to read this through very quickly in order to prep for this video. I've only had this book a day or two. Okay. And here we go for our example robots. Again, our steward droid is getting more fleshed out, and so is our StarTech droid. And now we get to the brains. This was pretty cool. If you like Mr. Data from Star Trek Next Generation, he's dealt out here, and you can actually figure out how to build him. And you could build him in a couple of different ways, depending on how you feel. Is Mr. Data really a sentient living creature, or is he just a clever robot? We get skill packages. Robot would be Data, in Star Trek would be an android, but that's brought out in here too. You get skill packages you can load into the robots. Hunter-killer brain packages. Standard brain packages. Just very well thought out, very nice. We continue with our two design examples, and then we get finalization. We get the final cost modifiers for mass production discounts, marketing discounts, and then we got our examples. There's our completed steward droid and our completed StarTech droid. Then we get special robots and other synthetics. Drones, microbots, microbot brain, nanorobots. Yes, nanorobots. And I like it because nanotechnology is always kind of a deus ex machina in science fiction, or at least it had been until more recently, where if you introduce the nanites, boom, everything goes insane, and oh, it's almost like magic. It's so wonderful. This deals with it as they really are, as nanorobots are right now. They do exist, and the limitations that they have based on their size, really, and endurance, life. You get environmental nanorobots, androids, biological robots, cyborgs, and cybernetic legs. I always loved the $6 Million Man who had cybernetic legs, but he didn't have cybernetic hips or waist. His legs would just run off and leave the rest of them behind, I always thought. Also, when he's picking up a car with a cybernetic arm, wouldn't the rest of his torso collapse? But hey, I was a kid. I just turned my brain off and enjoyed the show. Cybernetic limb considerations. Uh, Brain implants. You can actually transplant a brain into a robot. Your body is failing, it's dying. You can go ahead and put your brain into a robot. There's a chance you can use sanity from the Traveler Companion to see if you go insane by the transference or if there was damage done to your brain in the transference process. You can also clone a body and put a brain in. That's dealt with in here. I stopped here because we have agent wafers. Anybody who's read Mark Miller's Agent of the Imperium, Agent Wafers drives that entire book, and here we get what the Agent Wafer does exactly in Traveler terms. Avatars, yes, from the film Avatar, where you can be laying in a little cryostasis chamber and your brain downloads into another organism and you run around with it. I like that there's Avatar technology thought out and brought out into Traveler. And then we get clones and fast growing clones as travelers, and then finally missile robots, vehicle brains, ship's brains. You can actually have a robot controlling your entire ship. Astrogation skill limitation. I like that astrogation is still regarded in Traveler as more of an art than a science. The android robot can program the astrogation, the jump, but it needs the finesse of a living brain to actually kind of tweak it a little bit to make it safest. And then a lot of the book goes into tech beyond tech level 15. I like that. We get some examples of 16 and 17th tech level in here that, maybe somebody's on cutting edge with an android, or maybe you found an old artifact from another empire or from the ancients. And now we get other considerations such as damaging robots, hacking the robots, and then we get some weapons that are actually designed to damage robots. I thought that was pretty good. I had not expected to find weapons, anti-robot weapons in here, but here they are. And then robot maintenance, we get a nice robot hacking flowchart. Who doesn't love a good flowchart? So if you're trying to hack a robot, you've got it right there as a flowchart. And then for your repairs, and then buying a used robot, you can get them cheaper, but they may have quirks. So you've got a robot quirk table right there. And then here's your optional rule for sanity, reprogramming robots. And of course, if you have followed Traveler for a long time, you know that the new era dealt with virus, which was just basically a sentient computer program that took over ships that had computers themselves that literally overwrote the hardware. A lot of that can be brought into this type of book as well. If you want to deal with virus in some maybe limited form before the massive outbreak of the Cymbeline chip, that's something you can take a look at through this. Robots as travelers. Yes, we actually had a Mr. Data type wandering around in our game back in the 80s. Or it would have been the late 80s. Yeah, it was the late 80s. One of my players wanted to play Mr. Data. So we looked up some robot rules and I gave him a robot body and he played Data. It was a lot of fun. Now we have actual legitimate second edition rules for playing him. There he is in a gunfight, back to back with his human compatriot. Initial skills, robot careers, all of it dealt with here. Now we get to the central supply catalog for robots. This was what I really thought the book was going to be. I didn't think the design sequence would be as long as it was. That was a welcome surprise. I didn't think there was going to be anti-robot weaponry. That was a welcome surprise. And now we're at the central supply catalog. And for once, I wasn't guilty of just jumping ahead to this part of the book. I actually went through the whole book in sequence. I usually will just jump to the central supply stuff, especially in a book like this. This is what I bought the book for. This book offers a lot more than just the robots themselves, these pre-designed ones. So we just get a nice look at a lot of different robots. There are some really cool ideas in here. Induction plate to charge the robot, a la the Borg, where they go over and they stand in their little area and they recharge. You get robots building robots, the various types of software. Robotics control chart, another great flow chart for you. And now we get the robot catalog. So military robots. And we get the Centurion there. We get the clearance 800 crowd dispersal unit. When the crowd has to go. Creeper assassin robots. We're going to get to one called the popcorn robot in just a second. I'm going to talk about him. A fighting stronghold robot. Floating stronghold. A flying gun. Another flying gun. A third flying gun. A flying sword. I thought that was kind of a good idea. A sword with a little robot brain in the hilt and a little grav tech. That's a very cool idea. Grav mule. The grav pioneer. Just all kinds of robots in here. And I love the fact that most of these robots are not anthropomorphic, in that anthropomorphic means human-like. These robots are not human-like. They're built like robots. Most are designed to be obviously robots, like this guy, the Peacekeeper riot control robot. I love he's got 2 stun batons. Security drone, shadow security robot. Sindalian deathbot. Yep. Sindalian enforcement robot, which looks like it's just a serving table, a little walking serving table, but it's got a little pop-up laser. Spider bomb. It just crawls in and explodes by you. Trapper hunter droid. Urban pacification robot. That's definitely an Ed 209 if ever I've seen one. I'm sure that's a conscious lift of the Ed 209 from RoboCop. I got a big kick out of seeing that. Walking strong point. It's just a walking shield. It'll walk down the hallway through the fire. You get your service robots, your Angel of Mercy. It'll come out and pack you into the stasis tube to keep you alive. Astromechs. I like the idea of an astromech droid. Go out and repair the ship where you can't go without a suit. Autodocs, advanced autodoc. I think my players are going to be told about the advanced autodoc, and they might want to pool a little bit of their money, although the advanced autodoc is 3 million credits. I don't think they have enough money to buy one, but it's something they can aspire to. A bartender robot. I know they're going to buy one of those. Broker bot. It's just all kinds of robots in here. I like the imagination that went into this. I like the design sequences. There we are. A crew droid. A danger droid. Just all kinds of good robots in here. Good designs, ideas. Takes my tablet a few seconds for the pictures to load sometimes. There we go. Emergency medical response robot. The intense artwork does overload my little tablet now and again. There we go. An explorer rover. Bigger rovers. Sorry about this. Wasn't doing this earlier, of course. There we go. The Hive Queen. I've already thought of at least one adventure I can run around a Hive Queen robot that's either it thinks self-aware or decided it doesn't want to work for people anymore. This is a Hive Queen builds robots. So the robot build robots as long as it's got raw materials. A lot of these are attached to mining rigs, so they can mine the materials to keep building robots. I like the idea of a Brood Queen robot. And there she is. Security courtesy assist unit. Secure assist unit. And these allegedly have little mutiny guns hidden in them that can pop out if the right word sequences. So otherwise, it's just a little server droid. But if you have a little holdout weapon inside there, it'd be a good way to arm yourself in an emergency situation. A medevac robot. A nurse robot. Off-world construction master robot. Let a few of these populate. I'm trying to keep the air from being dead while they do that. Protocol droid. We're all familiar with them from Star Wars. Sanitation droid. Ship's mechanic. Called Rusty. Like I said, there was some good imagination put into this guy, into this book. Starship repair boss. The StarTech droid we saw designed earlier is brought out here. Steward shipboard robot. Again, a lot of these robots are not made to look like humans, which is intentional. It's a design feature. Don't know why this is being so twitchy. Okay. Steward droid. Surgeon bot. Now, I've got almost another 100 pages. I can't keep going in this. So I'm going to have to zoom ahead a little bit, as long as it's not going to load properly. Sorry about this, guys. I did want to show the whole book. So there's a lot of robots in here. more than I'll ever use in my game probably, but I don't care. That's a good problem to have. There's one robot in particular I'm trying to get to that gave me a good laugh. All right, I'm just going to zoom ahead to him. These are all the different robots. We get some alien robots. I thought this was a nice touch. So we get the Aslan robots. We get Hiver robots. Hivers are known especially for their various scout and combat robots. Marine boarding droid. A Kukri, friend of the lowly robot. It's just a gun platform. Breaker of lines. Just some nice stuff in here. Gonna keep going. I'm just trying to get to one robot and then I'm going to call it because this is not working out with my tablet. My apologies. I wanted to show the whole thing, but my tablet is being very finicky. My tablet does not handle a lot of art real well, but it's a good reader tablet. That's what I use it for mostly. Now we get down to microbots. I mentioned the popcorn bot earlier. The popcorn bot is kind of neat because it's a little bot that comes up on you and detonates, but it won't do much damage, one die damage. But that's why it's a popcorn bot, because there's going to be a lot of them around. There you go, the popcorn drone. Popcorn bot. They just come up and pop, 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 pop. They start blowing up around you, causing you damage. I thought that was a really cool idea. Now we go to nano robots. These are the very small, in some cases microscopic, or in nano robots they are microscopic. And then we go to androids. This is where I was trying to get to. We get an enhanced android, superior android, a body double android. Those times you have to make the appearance you don't want to make, you just send in your robotic body double, your android body double. A companion bot, a counselor. This is the bot I was trying to get to. Elvis performance double. I really don't know why this guy is in here, but I got a good laugh when I saw it. I like the idea of Elvis, a singer whose recordings are long since lost to time, yet he was better known for his impersonators than he was for himself. And here we still have Elvis in space. I thought that was great. And of course, it begged the immediate question, is there a fat Elvis performance droid in a jumpsuit? Because why not? If you're going to do Elvis, do him right. I got a real chuckle out of that. That was the laugh of the book for me. We get surrogate droid improved, so it's basically a nanny bot or a mommy bot. A cybernetic horse, why not? And then we get biological robots. It's an entourage biobot. So you want to act rich and important and well loved, you whip up your own little entourage of robots. An impersonator, a zombie, a clone grown to just do manual labor and just kind of wander around at your command. Cyborgs, cybernetically enhanced humans or aliens. All kinds of different things you can do with these. There's your bionic legs. This at least includes some hip area. Avatars, as we talked about earlier from the movie Avatar and its sequel. And then this is kind of neat because you almost get into superheroes with some of these. This is the macro hero bot, another micro hero bot. So you can almost play superhero type stuff if that's what you want to do in your traveler. I just kind of saw an opportunity where someone could actually have one of these bots and be going around pretending to be a superhero in some situation. And then we have clones. Of course, the Black Sand Widows, Thief, really cool clones, an underworker, and then we get to missile robots, which are basically just warheads with robot warheads in missiles, vehicle brains, and then we get starship brains also. There we go. We get a nice little auto robot tour guide, and then we get ship's brains. So I love the idea of a ship brain aboard a starship, a la Star Trek. The ship's computer being a lot of the control. And then we have high technology, and we've got an alien race, where the biological forms of the aliens have died away, but they've survived as high-tech robots. And an Ultima, another surviving android. These could be from other civilizations. They could even be ancient. Something you can build a nice story around. And then we get to one of my favorite things in all these kind of books, an index. So there you have it. That's a look at the entire book, all 265 pages of it. The PDF of this book right now in Drive-Thru RPG through the March 14th for the GM's Day sale, the PDF costs $25.50, down from $30. So it was a good enough deal that I grabbed it. I recommend taking advantage of the sale. There is no print on demand on this, obviously, because you could just go to Mongoose and buy the book. And if you buy the hardcover, which I think retails for $60 from Mongoose, you also get the PDF with that as part of the deal through Mongoose. So there you have it. Just a nice look at something you were able to get. I saved $4.50 picking it up this way. I'm actually going to turn that around and put it into another Traveler. The $4.50 I saved, I'm going to put it into another Traveler option. So there's the advantage to it. So that's all I've got for today from page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for putting up with my technical issues. And I'll see you next time on page 121.